Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Can one burn hair clippers? Rant. He asked me to help cut his hair for a contract job. I trimmed his neck and head down with care, making sure not to clip any moles or worsen an abrasion where he had hit his head. Then he showered, and I helped him clean up his face so he would look his best for the client. He's been unemployed since the pandemic started and trying to earn money with the trade skills he has acquired since his time as an engineer in the Navy. He left. He started texting me for information about hydraulic concrete and how to replace broken tiles around this pool he was looking at. Oh, never mind. This pool is a hot mess, the job is shady. The maintenance guy's trying to subcontract a job best left for a pool company. He texted that he is leaving at 11:39 p.m. He's not home by 12:30 a.m., from a place less than 4 miles away. He's not home by 1:30 a.m. He took my car so I struggle with his, and track him down using his Google location. He apparently found my frantic messages and just happened to be on the corner to the main road when I rumble up to the side street. He looked at me. I am angry and relieved that he's not dead. We meet back home. He claims he took Imitrex, Wellbutrin, Lexapro, and Provigil all at once, now experiencing what sounds like serotonin syndrome. The knees on his work pants look oddly clean. I say so. His leg went wonky. I helped him up the stairs, to our bed, and started frantically dialing nurse lines until I got to someone, because he didn't want to go to the ER. He wasn't febrile or having convulsions, so I was tasked with monitoring him all night, until after 10 a.m., so I could call 911 if that changed. I took his blood pressure every 15 minutes. I checked his temperature. I gave him water. He was mostly fine on Sunday. I was tired. It triggered a migraine, like I've been getting often since we got hit by a drunk driver in January. I took our daughter out for some clothes she needed replaced, then made dinner. On Monday, we went to look for new upholstery fabric for the kitchen chairs. They're pretty beat up. He saw some Disney face masks for $6/year and took a picture of them. This becomes terribly relevant on Tuesday. That evening he takes the oldest to meet up with Grandma for a trip, because my migraine hasn't gone away yet. When he comes back, I haul myself up anyway and we go to the store to get sausage for biscuits and gravy. Easy dinner for me to cook, but he offers to let me sleep it off. He cooks instead. Tuesday is the day I contemplated the flammability of wall clippers. He took a nap and I picked up his phone. Snapchat is the devil, but not as much a devil as my dear husband. He wasn't at a job, he was at an apartment with a woman who knew he was married to an evil jerk who yells at him for no reason. They had unprotected sex. He lied. He lied. He lied. He sent her the Disney mask picture right in front of me and tried to deny it. He told her she was my new, younger, more fun replacement. Replacing me, who was injured after having the third child he wanted so badly. Me, who stayed up monitoring his life for hours. Me, who cut his hair so he could look nice for his date. Can I burn them? I don't know, but I'm willing to try. This is important. When these things happen, we tend to look inward at ourselves to find blame. We get embarrassed. But that embarrassment is misdirected. Your husband didn't duck this other woman because of you or your marriage. He did it because he's an immoral, uncaring, unethical, self-centered, lying, cheating snake. With that in mind, reach out to those people who love you and can support you best, your family, and your friends. Not in any order. Get tested for STD/STIs. Make an appointment to see a lawyer. Stop all your income from going into any joint account. Suspend all joint credit cards. When people are as immoral as your husband, they will spend money they don't have, knowing their spouse will end up paying the bills. Ask him to leave the house. You can't kick him out, but you should certainly ask. If he refuses, move into another bedroom and go 100% no contact until he's served with papers. The sooner you see a lawyer, the sooner you can kick him to the curb. Don't clean up after him, cook for him, do his laundry, or eat dinner with him. Only make enough for yourself and the kids. Explain to your children in an age-appropriate way that daddy made a big mistake and is no longer welcome to eat dinner with you. If he leaves dishes or other messes, put them on his pillow. Oh, I like you. Why would I be at a job looking at a pool at almost midnight anyway? Why was that even believed? As far as the hair clippers go, no, I don't think you can burn them, and if they are rechargeable it can be dangerous. But you can throw the whole man out. Throw the whole man out. Way out. Like all the way out. And not with the trash. Don't insult the trash like that. This man has him some audacity. He left before midnight, but left far later than the 7 p.m. he was supposed to have started the estimate, and if I had believed him at that point, I probably wouldn't have busted into his Google account just to hunt him down to a complex at 1:30 a.m. He has been doing odd jobs and works on his parents' rental unit overnights normally. I can throw him out, but not legally quite yet. Until then, I figure I can remove any batteries and have fun destroying communal property used to manipulate me. Definitely support destroying property, just not dangerously. If rechargeable, the clippers might explode and wouldn't want you to get hurt. There's a certain literary quality to this post that I find appealing. Sounds like your normal, everyday cheater who needs to be handled the same way that most men need to learn valuable life lessons, and that would mean take the most dramatic actions possible, and in this case, within the parameters of the legal system. People like that think they're slick, but their head gets hazy from the lies they have to keep up, so they eventually get sloppy. Document the sloppy shit. Turn a mirror to his world. Don't burn the clippers, burn the whole establishment. Smile. Literally cut the cord to the clippers and to the man. I'm so sorry. Honestly, instead of burning them, taking a hammer to the clippers might be more therapeutic. After you do that, tell him you are leaving with the kids for a few hours and he better be gone by the time you get back. Maybe take your kids to their grandparents, then go over to a friend's house and start calling lawyers. Oh, that's a good idea. I won't kick him out until I see a judge. I don't want to get pegged as the bad guy in a situation where I'm definitely not. He's very charming, I can see him playing that victim card. I have screenshots, but no fault divorce states seem like the worst for this. Wear safety glasses if you decide to smash the clippers. You want to be able to see his face when he loses everything. Can you and the kids go stay somewhere else if you don't want to make him leave? I say this because at this point going no contact would be best for you. Do not leave, otherwise he could get the house in the divorce under claims of you abandoned the house. Just wondering, did he admit to taking the drugs over text? Could you try to text him about it to get an admission? In a roundabout way. Also, the nurse lines you called about this, do they keep call records? I'm asking because maybe these would help your case if he's very charming and likely to fool the judge. Well written, and I'm sorry you're going through this. Law, protect assets, STD testing etc. as has been so aptly laid out already. The only thing I'll add is that you've shown yourself to be a selfless, kind and caring person. Be ready for those heartstrings to be played by a master manipulator. It'll need to happen once it sinks in that his barber etc. is heading out. There's a lot of attempted bonding coming up. I know you're too smart to even consider reconciliation, but he'll push it. Be ready. Stay strong. I dolled up my ex, got him a new haircut, took pictures of his transformation, only for him to set them as his dating app profile pics. Totally understand how you're feeling, sis. Shave him bald in his sleep. One of my BFF's husbands needed some business headshots. I took them for him and his business partner. Short time later, I found the headshot I took on a hookup site. I was single and would find gasp-worthy pics to send to my friends. The pics some men would post, told my friend, they worked through it. But the audacity. Almost 10 years, trying to get pregnant, wife tells me there's someone else. Need support. Selfish. That's the word that sticks out in my mind through everything. We were high school sweethearts, got married after nearly 6 years together. We were pretty young, early/mid-20s. First year was great, then she had some really tragic family issues. I lost my job, just a bunch of shit. She never got over that period of time and has taken it out on me and everyone around her ever since. For almost 7 years, sex was 6 to 10 times a year because she didn't want it. She spent tens of thousands on credit cards trying to make herself happy. Always got her way, got what she wanted, all about her. Then she decides she wants kids, after years and years of saying absolutely not, and comes to me to sort of apologize. She didn't apologize, just said, I know these past years have been tough, I want things to get better and start a family. After struggling for so long, I was thrilled. We start trying to conceive, not happening. Right around the same time, I start having pain, docs find something and I need surgery on a sensitive area to also possibly help us get pregnant. Use your imagination. Surgery went poorly and nearly 2 years later I'm still trying to recover. She was very unsupportive, actually said I don't want to hear about your problems, but she was taking the whole not getting pregnant thing very hard every month. I tried to be there for her, but I was depressed, anxious, and in pain from my surgery and what was happening to my body. In February we were having crazy passionate sex, trying to get pregnant still. A few weeks later she sits down to talk and tells me she doesn't know if she loves me, doesn't know if she wants to be with me, gives a laundry list of complaints, from household chores, to me being unsupportive of her, to us not saying I love you or going on dates, etc. A month or so and several marriage counseling sessions in, with her counselor of 8 years, she makes a comment and I snap and ask her for the truth. Initially she asks me why I think she's not being truthful, then I remind her I'm not an idiot and she breaks down and tells me. She had been spending a lot of time talking to this guy at work. She had started a new position where she had to work closely with several people on a daily basis, all men. She told me how he was supportive and comforting through her conceiving difficulties while I was not, my surgery/pain/recovery be damned, and how she had developed feelings/an emotional connection with him. He is married with 2 very young children, and I found out he is leaving his wife/family. So incredibly selfish, that's all I can think of or say. Nearly 10 years of catering to her needs/emotions/wants/desires/moods, her spending tens of thousands of dollars, her devaluing my thoughts/emotions, her expecting support from me while actively telling me not to even talk about my pain/struggles, her having an emotional affair with a married man who has 2 very young children. The reality is, she has changed so much over the years I don't even recognize her. I put up with so much for so long, I thought it was normal/okay. At this point I'm just furious at myself, for staying and putting up with everything all these years, and astonished by how incredibly selfish and awful she is. I felt like I couldn't just abandon my wife after all that terrible shit happened early on, but she certainly abandoned me, and stabbed me in the back, when I needed her. Feels bad. First I'd bet $100 it's not an EA, it's a PA, especially since he's leaving his wife. I'm assuming for your wife. Second, dude, why did you put up with this crap for so long? I know she had early issues, but as I read this I just think I'd have kicked this b out if she treated me like that. Please don't take this as shaming, but I'm guessing you have very low self-esteem. Think of this thing this way, you're finally free. Good riddance to bad garbage. Contact a lawyer immediately and get papers written up. If you can do it, get her to move out ASAP. She can move in with friends or family, get her own place, or even join the circus, who cares? Yeah, when I type it all out it is just so egregious. Like I said, I'm just mad at myself for putting up with everything for so long. Yay, don't be too hard on yourself. Many of them fall for stuff like this, but at least now you can get out. That should be goal number 1, get her out if you can and file. I would go grey rock, you can look it up and get working on those papers. Don't yell, don't battle, don't compare emotional scars of who did what to whom. Just get out, go live with your AP or mom or under a bridge. Have you consulted with a lawyer yet? Remember, this was not your fault. Get yourself into some IC, start the healing process, move on and be happy. You have suffered enough. Things can only get better. We put up with a lot when we care about someone. I'm just sorry you had to go through all of this. Are you okay? Yeah, I appreciate it. I've gotten a lot of support from family and friends, so I'm fortunate in that regard. Just in shock, but I guess I shouldn't be given how selfish she has been for so long. Even though it's not fair, and it hurts, in the long run, maybe it's for the best. You had faith in her, and trusted her, and she showed you she wasn't worth that. You deserve better, and she cleared the way for you to find that when you're ready. Just remember, it's not your fault, you did your best, and that's all we can do. You're strong, and you'll get through this, Purple Heart. Thank you. Does this mean you're finally out the door? Oh yeah, it's 100% done. Good luck on your new journey, cool face. I'm leaving him in 3 hours. Need support. Found out he cheated multiple times a couple months ago. Forgave him stupidly, found out today that he has continued to do it through everything. I'm leaving him now. We're at my grandpa's place. He was meeting my family for the first time after being together for almost a year. I convinced myself to get my act together to eat breakfast with everyone in an hour before I let him know that we're over. I'm going to drive us straight back home and tell him to pack his bags and duck off. I've put up with all his shit for all these months, the lying, screaming, emotional abuse, gaslighting. And I'm done, I'm finally ducking, done. Wish me luck and please hype me up so I can get the strength to do this. All the best, Top. But why even bother to put your act when it is your family he is meeting? They should know what a crap he is. You need their support in this. Why even bother driving him back? Let him have some other transport. Beat him to the curb. Be careful when you let him leave. Have a family member or friend with you at that time. Honestly, it's just embarrassing even telling them I've introduced them to such a horrible person. Need to drive him back so he can get his shit and go, I guess. I just want everything sorted with him so I can focus on myself and my healing from the scars he made. Yet eventually you need to tell your family about this, right? You need support from family to heal faster in these issues. I'm saying, why wait for them to put effort to like him and afterwards knowing that they wasted their time and effort for that guy? Instead, you can get that time and effort from them. That driving part is absolutely your choice. Currently your emotions will be all over the place. You need to compose yourself. Try not to argue anything while driving, please. That's a dangerous act. I hope it went well and he left without harming you. Have someone, more than one, there with you just in case you break down to help you go through this. Good luck, A-OK hand. Never forgive a cheater, especially if he's cheated more than once. If you cheat, have a time to think and do it again. The only thing the cheater is regretting is getting caught. Be careful. Find someone to be with you when you tell him to leave. Friends or family. Have a trusted friend or family with you so he cannot manipulate you or get angry and violent. Take every precaution for being safe. It's better to be prepared and better safe than sorry. Wow. Some people just have no scruples. He was able to go through with meeting your family, even while he was still cheating on you. Amazing how so many people have no integrity. Good on you for kicking him to the curb though. Driving him back to then toss him out? That's a power move. I wish you all the best with it, though I do agree that you probably want a good friend or family member there with you when you do it. You never know with some cheaters, and it's better to be safe than sorry. And it's always good to have that emotional backup to help you go through with it. Well done, Op. Don't weaken. Don't lose your resolve. You are doing absolutely the right thing. Don't expect closure. There is none, and even if there were, he's not capable of giving it. Don't get involved in any discussion on the matter. No final words or parting gesture. His last memory of you should be of you walking away. Good luck, heart. Has he established residency with you? If he has, it may not be that simple to get him to move out, even if you call the police. They will most probably tell you that you have to formally evict him. Anyway, it may be best for your safety to have someone there with you when you tell him it's over and he needs to move. Good luck. I was the one told to leave. Police told us that as a current resident she had to evict me. We worked it out and have been together for nearly 20 years now. FYI, I didn't cheat, we were just going through a rough time. STBXW's fam friend is my main client. Asked if we were having problems today. I haven't told him we've been separated since November, and I'm scared I'm going to lose my ability to pay rent. This is most of my response with names removed. Post-separation. I have been drinking more than usual, but I've got it in hand. I stop for a few days a month, and I'm up for work every morning. The bars are finally open and I've been absolutely without intimacy or friends since winter, which is a big part of why I was so against lockdowns. My social life collapsed completely, and I became depressed when the only friends who visited were the men X was seeing on the side. I came to terms with her doing what she needed to do, but eventually I guess she felt that anyone was better for her than me. Now for the part I've been holding back. X threw me out in November when I asked her to stop seeing one of her side guys because he asked me to step aside. He said he wanted her to have his baby. I got mad about it when she refused, and said some stuff I'm not proud of. She wants a divorce, and they've been seeing each other since. They're in love in a way she hasn't loved me in years. I've been sleeping alone for nearly 5 years now. I'm utterly gutted and I'm having a hard time staying positive. I really didn't want to dump the details on you, but I've been feeling really depressed and alone since November because she was all I ever wanted out of life, and she suddenly didn't want me at all. I believe that I gave up too much of myself in attempts to make our life better, and she can't love what's left. I am having a hard time. I've been trying to restart my life in a town that doesn't want me while making sure she's taken care of financially, and that my 4-year-old daughter gets as much time with me as I can make. In all the chaos, my stepdaughter has decided to go live with her dad, and no one will give me his phone number. I miss her too, but she's so mad that I left that I'll probably never see her again. Just writing about this has left me feeling very sad and alone. I've been trying to meet people since she made it clear that we won't be getting back together, but it's not working. I'm too emotionally messed up, and therapy doesn't seem to be helping. Honestly, if it weren't for my daughter's love, I'd have just ran away and started again somewhere else. Update: he told me today that he values my skill and friendship too much to ditch me, and that he would never let emotions get in the way of good business and relationships. I am gonna be okay, guys. I then went on to talk about how I believe my work is all that I have to offer, and that I hope our friendship and business relationship isn't hurt by this. The guy talks about how talented I am all the time and how happy he is with my work. Now I guess I will find out if that's how he really feels. Hopefully, he was being honest and will continue to send business your way. Just be kind and diligent with the work you do for him. You need to change the therapist. The same thing happened to me. I had a shitty therapist, but then I found a better one, and there are many branches of psychology. I wish you the friend. I hear you, man. Don't have much to contribute other than to say STBXW sounds like a vile witch to allow that to happen. You need a better therapist. You can interview them. You need to get a handle on your drinking. Are you an alcoholic? Seriously, are you? If you are, you need treatment and to stay away from it. What your STBX did, cheating, had nothing to do with you, or maybe it did have to do with things you were not doing or were doing, but she could have done a number of things other than cheated, right? She could have broken up, divorced you, asked for a separation and you to work on your drinking and therapy. She could have asked for marriage counseling, right? She chose to cross the line and cheat. And it had nothing to do with you, more to do with her. You need to focus on you and your daughter. Guarantee you could find your stepdaughter on Facebook, just a thought there, or if you know someone that could look for her for you. You need. Not angry anymore. Not an alcoholic. Clearly spending time with my daughter. Thanks for confirming I'm on the right path. I saw this post on r/as1 after infidelity and had to share it here. Ops words hit me right in the feels. Met to r/as1 after infidelity. The irony of reconciliation with a remorseful wayward. I find it ironic that many waywards began affairs because of the ego boost, the desire, the self-esteem from having someone blow smoke up their ass by telling them how great and wonderful they are. I can understand how that feels good and how people can become entranced by that. Everyone wants to be desired, appreciated, respected, loved, etc. But, the thing they were looking for in the affair, ego/self-esteem boost, is now the one thing that many betrayers, including me, will never be able to give fully again. I can't tell my WH how he is such a good man and I'm lucky to have him, things his AP told him. I can't tell him I respect him and love him with all my heart. I can't brag about our marriage, I can't look at pictures of us and think I've got everything I ever wanted. The things he needs for his ego are things I can't give him because I don't believe them. I can respect his efforts to improve, I can express my appreciation for certain things, I can be somewhat content with our lives now, I can enjoy our family as a whole. But the damage is too deep for me to look at him and think I'm such a lucky girl. He is a great man. He is everything I've ever wanted in a spouse. Sometimes I think it isn't fair to either one of us to continue. He can't meet my needs, trust, security, and respect. I will never fully trust or respect him again. I know some people can, but the best I can do is 90%. And I can't meet his need to feel adored and respected. And it's so ironic because I absolutely adored him pre-affair. I knew he wasn't perfect, far from it, but I accepted those things, just as I hoped he accepted my many faults, because the one thing I always counted on was he was a man of integrity. I can put up with a ton of minor bullshit as long as my man has integrity and treats me with respect. I adored him because I thought he was one of the few men left on the planet that had integrity and would never betray or disrespect his wife. Does anyone else relate to this? I attempted reconciliation with my WP. I tried really hard, but I could never look at him the same way. I couldn't trust him, I didn't love him. I remember trying to buy a Father's Day card for him one year and every single one talked about how great of a man he was. I didn't end up getting him a card because it would have been forced. The kids ended up making their own for him. After a few years of trying, we are done. He moved on to the next girl within a week and I am planning on staying single for a few years. Try to work on being able to trust someone again. That post is basically everything I felt when trying to reconcile. That is, until he just acted shady again and I had enough. It was not worth living like that. I'd rather be alone and free to find someone who treats me like a sentient, human being. Wow, all the feelings of a BS in one post. This post has so much depth. Honestly, this helps me feel better about WS abandoning me without even trying reconciliation. It would have crushed my spirit, but I still would have tried. He never even asked for reconciliation, as this was an exit affair. Abandonment is devastating, yet I think reconciliation would have been worse. I think all BS know deep down inside that reconciliation will never work precisely for what the op said. To make it work, BS has to take on even more of WS garbage as their own and suffer in silence. Live in a permanent state of cognitive dissonance. Knowing that the WS doesn't love them at the heart of it, because no one would do that to the person they love. WS demonstrated profound disrespect to BS and the marriage. There can't be love or trust where there is betrayal, disrespect, and a basic lack of honor or integrity. Once a person crosses that line, they cannot get their honor or integrity back. WS diminish themselves in our eyes in every way that matters. You can't have a meaningful relationship with that person. And the one you had was meaningless to them anyway. I identify with some of those feelings. My ex gives me this really sad look sometimes, like she regrets everything, and I know that I could never take her back, love her and trust her like before. It's gone and will never come back. That hurts just as much as knowing what she did. Sucks. I broke up with my ex-fiancée like 2 weeks ago, and I know one day she will do something like this, but I understand what you feel. It will never be the same, and it ducking sucks because I don't think she is happy with what she did. 100% on her for going and ducking a new guy behind my back, but I can't allow myself to take her back in any way, shape or form. I think it's accurate. Why I am not a big proponent of how much. It's very rare that I read stories about people in R who even say they are happy, where I don't think it just sounds very sad and dysfunctional. And I know as someone who moved on, I am completely healed. I remember the last time I spoke with a long-term girlfriend when I had finally figured out that she had been cheating on me and was just keeping me around as her plan B. She told me how she was always trying to remove my rose-colored glasses. Well, she removed those glasses, dropped them on the ground and stomped them to sand, at least as far as she was concerned. This is my struggle now, the dichotomy of the woman who I was loyal to for 16 years, and the woman she became. You're much stronger than I am for forgiving your WH. I'm 2 months out from D-Day and I'm 2 weeks out of contact. I miss my best friend, I'm so lonely, and in turn I get so mad at her. An anger I never allowed myself to feel before, probably why we weren't meant to be. It's hard for me to be encouraging because I understand how you feel, but the one thing I wish I had was the partner I had when she was helping with the kids. I sleep like 3 hours a night some nights and school hasn't even started yet. Stay strong. I recently heard that in order to bend another's energy, your own spirit must be unbendable. Stay true to your morals, your ethics, whatever code you follow. Hope is something you give yourself, that's the meaning of inner strength. I'm not one to reconcile after infidelity. It is and always will be a deal breaker for me. It's not because I immediately cannot look to them for physical intimacy. The disgust isn't just thinking they've got crotch cooties either. It's the broken trust. If I don't trust you, there's a chance you can earn it. If you gain my trust, I will bend over backwards for you. A person's worth to me are their reputation and their word. If you break my trust, you can never earn it back. You can't go back in time and not do what it was that broke my trust. I may not hold a grudge against you, but not holding a grudge is not trust. Vows are a hell of a lot more than hey, I'll pay that $100 back on payday. You have my word on it. Vows. You are making them before God and man. In front of your families and friends. All the folks that mean more to you than anyone else on earth. When the trust from that breaks, well, it doesn't break. It shatters. This is why I'd never consider reconciling. It is another proof of how deeply traumatic and irretrievable infidelity is. How modern society underestimates it with the words "just get over it." They say it as if we are all addicted to suffering and want the pain to always stay. We want to move on, duh, I wish it was that easy. I was unable to trust again, to respect, to believe in him. It's been 2 years of being single and I recently met someone who went through the same thing. It feels so much different. It is a fresh start. Duck cheaters and the damage they cause. Damn, this hits so true. Wow. Mine wasn't remorseful. He was regretful, and only because he keeps getting caught and can't have his cake. Every point still sticks and I fully felt it all. You are so right about one thing. If your marriage continues, it is different, you're different and so is he. The most important thing in a marriage isn't love, it's the trust and respect that's the foundation that allows love to take root and grow. Can it be saved? The real answer is sometimes, but it's going to take real hard work from you both. Only you know if you think you can do it. And the bad thing is he has to want it even more. He can never give you the slightest doubt again. I kind of feel like we just need to get rid of marriage as a society, since it means so little. I never had the option to reconcile with my wife. She just dumped me for a neighbor and now they're living their best lives, going on trips and to shows while his ex and I still work all the time. It feels like I work more now since I have my kids half the time. I probably wouldn't have been able to say the things that the op in that post can't say either if she would have come back. But I don't know if I can ever say them to anyone because I don't think I'll ever be able to love anyone again. She is the mother of my children and was the most important thing in my life. I'm years away from my separation and divorce and I think it's worse. I went from my parents' house to college to roommates to her. Then we had a big community of friends, mostly hers, then we had our kids. Then I went back to school so they could have a better life and she threw me away. I've never been alone like this. I'm by myself most of the time. I don't know what I want and I feel like all my hopes and dreams were tied up with my family. I feel like I can't do right by my kids. I can't get it all out of my mind. I don't know what to do. I'm not married but just got out of a long relationship that ended in the worst way possible. If nothing, I get how you feel when you say you lost your best friend and you just wish you had a time machine, but the truth is you need to do things for you now. Do all the things you've always been iffy about or really wanted to try. Push yourself like it's your last day on earth every day. Also take time to understand that some people are just never going to think about anyone but themselves. It's time you did the same. Treat yourself to something nice. Eat all the foods you like. Be healthy and be the best version of yourself. Maybe you meet someone, maybe you don't, but you'll feel amazing being you. Be there for your kids and just be the best father you can be. Also pick up a hobby. I play a lot of online video games to sink into and just escape for a couple hours. Movies and shows are too emotional. Maybe that could help. I'm sorry, I wish I could take both our pain away and understand what causes people to be so shitty, but we only have ourselves and we can only be ourselves. No, it seems very clear that you're not getting what you need to continue. It's why reconciliation is so hard to come by, and how infrequently it actually works. The trust is just gone. They have betrayed the most basic of intimacies that we had, on the true gut level, and that clearly never comes back. I have been boxing up the old pictures, because now I look at them and think, even ones of us from 20 years ago when we got married, what a lie all this was. Was she going to cheat on me then? How deeply did it all go? That is how bad it all is, and I'm 2 years plus after D-Day number 1, trying to finalize the divorce and now moved on to living with a very lovely woman that gives me every bit of love and respect I could ask for. It just sounds like you either settle for 90% and just waste years or start to make moves to improve your, and his, situation. Good luck. After the infidelity is brought to the surface, the marriage and all the security that comes with it is pretty much dead. They destroyed it. Most definitely agree. You giving 90% is a lot, mine would probably be more like 60 to 75% at the time. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.